What's going on, guys? This is Ed Reviews here for our very special. This is our first ever end of the year podcast. Joining me, as always, is the wonderful, the magnificent, the unpaid fellow, although we're all unpaid, junior consultant, Mike Adams.
It's your boy, the intern. How you doing?
Obviously, last year it was just Amanda and I think we'd done the first two Life is Strange podcasts, but you weren't even, we didn't name you staff at that point.
No, I was just a special guest, Mike Adams.
So after we brought him on as the junior consultant, I decided to involve him a little bit more in our end of the year stuff. Just a little bit of housekeeping before we get going. I am still going to be doing my traditional end of the year awards video. We're recording this on a Thursday. I believe it's the 27th.
Yep.
I am going to be filming the awards video on the 29th with Amanda behind the camera, obviously. And our goal is to get that up the same time that we did last year, New Year's Eve, so you guys can take in my thoughts on the end of the year. But until then, Mike and I are here to talk about some of our best and worst things of the year. And we're subtitling this. I came up with this idea, and we'll bring it home a little bit more in the conclusion, but I came up with this subtitle of Caring About What You Make. Because I don't know about you, Mike, but just about everything that I really loved this year, if you did the research on the production, whether it was a video game or whether it was a movie, there was a lot of passion in the stuff that I particularly really liked. And I think that in this day and age, you need passion to make a good product. I feel like that was at any point in time, but
I mean, especially when we live in such an age in the video game industry, especially where like greed can just consume an entire like media or medium rather. Having projects that show a lot of developer care and passion really shine through. And we had a lot of them this year, and we had a lot of really stinky examples of corporate greed. And it's gonna be great.
So we're gonna lead it off with the thing that we have the most ability to discuss, and that's gaming. I will, just as a forward, you will hear my game of the year, film of the year, album of the year picks, at least like my nominations. I'll do my best not to hint at what I'm picking, though it probably is pretty obvious for most of them. My top 3 or 4 games this year are Detroit Become Human, God of War, Spider-Man is up there. I haven't finished Spider-Man still, but I do give Spider-Man a lot of credit for mechanically what it did and the fact that it is an incredibly charming story. And I do have to put Smash in just because Smash is always really good to great every year, and this year is no Super Smash Bros. Ultimate, by the way. We're just saying Smash, but that could mean anything. Smash Brothers is always routinely really good. And what about you?
Basically the same thing. I feel like every big hitter this year, like everyone loved it. There's just a lot of universal praise. A lot from Sony this year. Sony kicked this year's ass. But
great time
of course,
to own a PlayStation.
It is. It's also a great time to own a Switch, baby, because Smash Bros. Ultimate came out. There was like 5 months of pure unadulterated hype for that game. So much so that I think reactions to the Smash Bros. Directs were like a genre unto themselves. I loved watching it because, and this is kind of go a little bit into Smash Ultimate, but I can't help nerding out about it. It's fine. Like, you can see that, like, I hope Sakurai and his team watches those because you can really see how much people, like, care about that game. People love that game. People love to see the effort put behind that game. Characters came back. Stages came back. Mechanics that were brought in that everyone asked for. And it was just a lot of... It's the ultimate fan service, and I guess we'll go into it more later, but that's definitely... I'm just going to say it's my game of the year. It's my game of the year. I love it. I think there was like a lot of effort put into it. It was a lot of just good in it. Maybe that's because it's new, but up there also there's God of War, which I played the original God of Wars, and ooh yeah, I love that game. Red Dead 2 was really good, but I had my gripes with it. But it was still a very fantastic game overall. And yeah, what did you say?
I had said Detroit Become Human,
Detroit.
which is probably gonna get mine.
Yeah.
So we can kind of we both love that game.
Oh yeah, definitely.
If you're familiar with Mike and I's opinion on choice-based gaming, as you know, his original introduction to the channel was Life is Strange Before the Storm, which is a horror. It's not a choice-based game.
No, it's not.
But I think he and I both. It is personally, and I know this is not a popular opinion with most. It is one of, if not my favorite genre in gaming, just because I love when it's done right, like Detroit did.
Oh yeah.
It sucks you into whatever the world is, and it makes you feel weight in every decision you ever make. I think where I got, and I don't want to get too far aside, I think where I got lost when I originally played the first Life is Strange was I took the one thing that made that lasting impact, the Kate scene in the original Life is Strange, and I said, oh my God, this game is that because lasting impact. No. There's bottles, and there's only really two choices that you can't at least immediately rewind to, but Detroit...
Endings don't count as choices, by the way. That's something most games have nowadays. That doesn't make your game a choice game if the rest of the scenes don't carry any impact.
Detroit, there's impact everywhere.
You can have a completely different playthrough than another person.
If you follow the Instagram, subtle plug, at EJK Reviews, I just booted up last night, going back into my second playthrough of Detroit, which I never finished. I didn't get that far into it either. And it's, even though I'm making similar decisions, the game has taken a different path. Exactly. I accidentally got Connor killed at one point, and apparently he's immortal.
That boy can't die.
They're androids. They're not mortal at all, but there's a brilliant scene with, like, just this little attention to detail. They obviously have to write back in that Connor comes back because the game would be, like, less than 5 hours, I think, without Connor.
That's what happens if you kill Marcus, though, or Kara. If they both die, their things are just cut from the thing, and you don't only have the other two. Or you can just have Connor.
Wow, that must be a quick game if it's just Connor.
Yeah.
But the thing is, so when Connor dies, I got a death in the interrogation scene. Last night I was just playing it. I just didn't realize he could die there. It was kind of a big shock. I was like, oh shit, I got him killed again. Because in my first playthrough I got him killed towards the end where he can't get rezzed. But they write in that Hank, his partner, like, gets startled the next day when he sees a new Connor, because they write in that CyberLife makes a new Connor.
Yeah.
And gives him the same memories as the old one.
But with a little bit lost.
With a little bit lost. And it's a 2-second scene, but David Cage, he knows how to write a good story, and I really appreciate that even in that second, he wrote in, because the player made a mistake, he wrote in that Hank is jarred to see this person he saw got shot the day before alive again. And two, Hank's trust, you have, like, trust meters with different people. His trust meter goes down because he's like, what the fuck? And Detroit, the reason to bring it back to why it's probably going to get my game of the year, Detroit, everywhere, everybody on that production team did so much work to make such an incredibly good, incredibly strong narrative product.
Brian Descartes, the actor for Connor,
the man, the myth,
he's become a meme. He's
become a meme.
He's become a popular Twitch streamer now because everyone loved his character, and he's the same dude in real life.
He really is. And I love that his wife was in the game too.
Yeah, she was the Blue Tracy.
Which I just thought that's such a cool thing.
That is a cool thing.
And to go back to the other, I mean, everybody knows that when a Smash game comes out, Masahiro Sakurai, he pours his heart and soul.
Dude,
that's why we get them every
5-6 years. Like, he kills himself making that game because he runs an independent company, Sora Limited. But it's How about we do this? Because I have a list of games right here, right?
Sure.
So we'll like skim through a bunch of the ones we know about, and then we'll talk about them. And if we find a topic we like to do, we'll discuss it a little more in depth.
And he's getting this list from Wikipedia. Looks like
Wikipedia. Thank you. Donate $3 to Wikipedia to help it keep it alive, please. Hashtag save Wikipedia. So
I know nothing about that movement. Wow.
So in January we didn't have much except for Monster Hunter World and Dragon Ball Fighter Z, which I didn't play Fighter Z, but I heard it was a really good fighter game.
And Monster Hunter is a quiche.
Yeah,
or not quiche. It's not.
It's not an egg. It's a niche roll.
It's a niche game.
I played it, and it's a lot. It's a lot they throw at you, but it's really fun.
I believe it. I believe it. I just haven't. It's not my type of story.
If you like multiplayer, if you like hanging with your friends and just killing with some monsters and stuff and item management, then you'll love that game. It's Monster Hunter. No one has an issue with Monster Hunter, I don't think.
What did February give us?
February gave us a couple things. They gave us Shadow of the Colossus remake, which I really need to play that. I haven't yet.
I'm not familiar with it, to be honest.
But I've heard really, really good things about Shadow of the Colossus, and I really want to. It also gave us Owlboy, which is a really cool indie title. They got us the Bayonetta ports for the Switch, which I need to play still. Metal Gear Survive. Let's talk about a low in gaming history right now. Metal Gear Survive. Metal Gear used to be a game created by Hideo Kojima.
Did you play this one?
Oh, no, because everyone knew it was. This game made you pay for save slots.
Oh, that's just gross.
Yeah.
Here we go. We can go into... I mean...
Konami is the worst... One of... up there with one of the worst gaming companies alive. They're making better ways, but I think it's just damage control. After Hideo Kojima left because he hated Konami, they obviously have the Metal Gear rights still, which angers me. But... So, obviously, they're going to take Metal Gear Solid 5, use the same engine, same locations, make it a zombie survival game in 2018.
Because when I think Metal Gear, I think zombies.
And
ripping off COD.
And they, I don't know, they made, the gameplay was clunky. I played it over a friend's house. The gameplay is clunky. There's no story. It's just your character doing dumb crap. There's item management. You have to wait for upgrades like a mobile game, which is what I hated about Metal Gear Solid 5.
Gross.
And you have to pay for save slots. $15 a save slot. So, yeah.
Corporate dicking in games is just...
It's pissing on a legacy, and no one liked it. Everyone knew it sucked, and now it's going for $5 in the PSN store.
Of course it is.
So, whatever.
Wait, is the save slot still $15?
I'm assuming it is.
Wow. 3 times... Wow. Uno for PS4 is a better value than that, it sounds like.
It also gave us H1Z1, which is like a freaking, Battle Royale clone. We got a lot of those this year.
Yeah, because technically it was Fortnite, got huge at the beginning of the year, right?
End of last year, beginning of this year.
Yeah, I don't remember exactly where. I know you and our mutual friend Roland forced me to play it. Mm-hmm. So I got into the trend for a little bit.
March gave us Kirby Star Allies, which I've yet to play, but that's a return to form for
fun.
Kirby. We got Detective Pikachu for the 3DS.
Oh, yeah. Now a Ryan Reynolds movie.
Yeah, exactly. We got Far Cry 5, which, it's another Far Cry game.
Ubisoft does not... Ubisoft, to talk about... Although I did hear good things about the new Assassin's Creed. Yeah. Ubisoft, in particular, is a company that I'm routinely frustrated with. Because when is the last time we had a new IP from Ubisoft?
Never. Not never, but it's been years.
And the thing of the Ubisoft, we talked about this a little bit in our E3 podcast when we were talking about Ubisoft. They're predictable. Every year you know what you're going to get from Ubisoft. It may be good, but they don't do anything new.
The last new IP was Watch Dogs.
Oh, God, that was 2012, wasn't it?
And remember how good it looked in the E3 presentation?
Yeah, and then
remember what we got?
Yeah.
And that's the thing. Ubisoft
and then they decided to haul the Watch Dogs cover mechanics into the AC games, at least with, what was the one in France?
Unity.
Unity, and it didn't... And Ubisoft was too focused on making that shitty Assassin's Creed movie, too.
They have the resources to make great games. They just... cheap out. I can't really think of anything else, but they just deadlines, can't do it, and whatever. It makes me mad. It makes me sad.
Yeah, Ubisoft I used to be kind of a Ubisoft fan. I did really enjoy some of the AC games, but even those just got boring after a while. You know, what else is on this list?
We got April, boy. And April gave us a few things. April gave us a little game. I don't know if you know it. God of War.
I mean, what's there to say besides it's fucking amazing?
Well, here's the thing. Here's a little backstory on this. So, we got the 3 God of War games on the 2 God of War games on PS2 and the 1 on PS3. The 1 on PS3 gave us HD God of War, HD gore, Kratos killing everyone. Love it. I love it. So
I have not played the original 3.
So we got Ascension, which was a prequel, which was like at the end of the PS3 life cycle. So everyone's excited for it, right? New God of War game. Let's go. Subpar.
Yeah.
But the thing is, we never got subpar from God of War. We always got awesome. We always got amazing.
But
we always
also,
got gory goodness.
What you have to... I think if you look at like the eras of gaming, the original 3 God of War exist in a different era of gaming. Where you didn't necessarily want or need gripping story. I mean, you told me before God of War 4 came out, though it's just called God of War.
Yeah.
I asked him to give me kind of a synopsis just so I knew what I was getting into.
And it's pretty basic.
And like it's a pretty basic
but it's an interesting
there's
premise.
a cool premise to it, but for the most part I always remember the God of War games being associated with just I mean the not the meme, but the argument back when people were like gaming is too violent was I don't know which God of War it is, but the one where you need to get a trophy you needed to to advance in the game, you had to sacrifice a woman or something.
That was 2.
And so, but the thing is, where even as somebody who's not played, though you recommended them to me, and I got there's a remaster, right? For at least 3.
They prioritized gameplay over story, and the gameplay was just it's a hack and slash. You just go around killing demons and monsters and shit.
And what I love about God of War from this year is that, it is brutal combat. It's almost, to make a comparison to a movie from last year, it's almost like the Logan of that franchise.
It's, a little more backstory on it. Like, when Ascension did not so well, right?
Yeah.
They, Santa Monica Studios told Cory Barlog, we're not making another one. That's it.
Yeah.
So he almost never got
Who's
to make a
the
new
game
one.
director.
Yeah, he's the game director.
And he's also a really cool dude. I follow him on Twitter. He's just, cool.
So when God of War 4, PS4, 2018, whatever you want to call it, came out, was announced, everyone went, or most people who knew the series went just apeshit. We loved it. We were so excited for the new game. And as Eddie was saying, it just prioritizes story more. And it's like Logan, because this dude who was a raging maniac in the other games has cooled down a little bit. Yeah. He's old. He has a kid.
So, when I first saw the first, what was that, E3 2017?
That was 2017.
At E3 2017, when I saw that trailer, I mean, I wasn't immediately sold.
Atreus was bald.
But I was just like, ooh. This could be something because it looks slower paced. It looks more like my style of game.
And those graphics, man. Ooh.
Right. Now, he mentioned prioritizing story over gameplay. The gameplay is still one of the most solid games I have played on this on the PlayStation 4 the whole generation.
Y'all remember button combos like square, triangle, square, square? It's back, baby.
Yeah.
We bringing it back.
They didn't need to do. They chose to. What I don't want to say classic gaming because open world existed in some respects. Yeah. They brought back what I call classic gaming. Of it's not an open world. There's levels. There's place. It's a linear story.
The thing about linear games is that they're polished. They can, like, with an open world, you can't test a dude flying through the air in 3 ATVs. You can't test for that.
Yeah.
But with a linear game, you can absolutely you can refine each level, make it feel a certain way, make it do a certain way, make it move a certain way.
Other than like the Tomb Raider franchise, I can't think of many modern games that committed to just linear storytelling besides maybe Choice.
Uncharted did it, but that's past now.
So other than like Uncharted and the more like regarded as action oriented, everybody did open world, and to Cory Barlog's credit, he didn't force open world on that. Like
there's what's the difference? There's open world and then there's like open levels. Like there's just open design.
And there's exploring in that game.
Yeah, like the extra reward is for exploring.
the other thing too is Barlog. I don't know if he's credited as the writer of that game or not.
I don't think so. I think he was like head of the writing staff.
The writers in that game knew how to tell I found an incredibly gripping, intelligent, emotional story that felt. The reason I said Logan is like a Logan-esque story of like, I was a monster, but now my choices have impact.
Yeah, and that's the thing. The thing of, like, I never watched the X-Men movies before Logan. I still loved Logan.
Yeah, I did too. Same thing.
And you're a newcomer to God of War.
Yeah. And I love it. It's close to Detroit for like best PS4 games. We can talk a little bit more. I mean, we kind of already went into it, but like Detroit is better to me. Was I enjoyed it more. They're both in their own right masterpieces of game.
Yeah, absolutely.
And can I just say also before we move on to the next game, the axe is such a goddamn fun weapon.
They gave you, the other games, they gave you like a couple of weapons, right? Like in the old games you had like your Blades of Chaos, which come back and that's amazing. If you've never seen it and you don't care about spoilers, look it up. Amazing scene. Amazing
the scene is amazing, and also the Blades of Chaos are so much fun.
The new voice actor for Kratos does an amazing job, dude. I thought it was going to be a train wreck, but he really captures like the pain and regret of his past and moving forward to it. Oh my god, just an amazing experience. That's just an amazing experience. Then we got Nintendo Labo.
Cardboard. Nintendo. It is amazing how Nintendo games and how Nintendo consoles always have staples of here's your Mario game. They're
trying to replicate the Wii success with the Labo, I think. Just a little like, here, have something.
But I'm not paying. I mean, I feel like the meme or the joke with that is I'm not paying $75 for cardboard.
Yeah, I think if it ever gets like a serious price drop, like $10, I'll pick it up.
Whatever. Oh yeah, same. But what else is there on that?
For May, we got Stardew Valley for the PS Vita and like a bunch of ports for Stardew Valley, which I think were pretty cool. Yeah. Not much happened in May that I'm seeing.
And then Detroit, I think, was the only thing in May. That was a May title.
Oh, was it a May title?
I thought so.
It's not on here, but maybe it was.
It was May, yeah, because I remember my goal was to finish God of War before that came out, so I gave myself a month to finish God of War before Detroit. And like I said, we kind of talked about it already, but like Detroit to me, just to kind of talk about it as my probably game of the year, it just works on every level. Like, no pun intended. Just to give an example of the amount of detail that David Cage and his team did. Mm-hmm. This is something he and I have talked about a lot, but I still can't get over this one decision. Obviously, music in gaming is really important.
It is.
And if you don't know, Detroit follows 3 separate stories coinciding together. At some points, they cross paths. But for the most part, they're 3 separate storylines. And each of the 3 main characters has their own composer to do their music. And as a music buff, and especially like a orchestral music nerd in some respects, I can really appreciate hearing different styles of music.
Oh, absolutely.
And he is too. He appreciates music. And
that's why I like Persona 5, which didn't come out this year, but it's my favorite game I played this year thus far. I like it. Just music in games can make or break a game.
Exactly.
It absolutely can make or break a game. And Detroit does it so well.
Exactly. I still have the Kara's main theme on my phone, and it, for one thing, it gives me chills. Just about any time I listen to it.
Like Kara's is more of like, how would you describe it? Like
the composer described what he thought of as like, what would I write if I was writing music about protecting my own daughter? And
then Connor's is like very synthetic, detective-y, very high-paced action. Marcus is very like hopeful, very not energetic, but like very energizing.
The composer was going for like a
revolution,
and like a gospel, kind of a thing.
He was supposed to be very, very prevalent things to civil rights movements, but like he was like an android Martin Luther King.
Yeah, and that game, and now I can understand people who say I don't like choice-based games
That's
because
fair.
I prefer, and I can respect that for the most part. But even then, watch someone play it.
Yeah, it's a movie,
Because
basically. You don't have to play it.
It's
but
such a smart story.
if you don't like video games, you could definitely get into this game. Because it's not a game, it's a movie.
Yeah.
But it's fine. You make choices, so that's what's up about it. But,
And the choices have so much weight.
and there's quick time events, so be prepared for that.
Yes.
But,
And what else do we have?
June, we just got a whole bunch of Nintendo Switch ports, which I love what the gaming industry is doing right now. Just put it on the Switch.
Yes.
Just everything on the Switch. You can't say the Switch library doesn't have a lot, because it's got the entire Wii U library. It's got third-party support now, which thanks, Nintendo, you finally got your head out of your ass.
Good choice.
But yeah, basically, June was E3, so all we got was a bunch of announcements and ports for stuff. So we got July. What do we got in July? We got Captain Toad Treasure Tracker, obviously a great game.
June had Fortnite on Switch.
Yeah, June.
That was a port, but also just I feel like you can kind of put Fortnite in this year, even though it technically started last year. And,
Yeah.
I mean, I've talked at length about how while I give Fortnite credit for being great at what it is, I'm just tired of that game at this point. I'm tired of...
If you like it, kudos to you, but...
I just got so... And the thing is, I always joke, because this tends to happen when I play stuff with Mike and our mutual friends. I start playing it with them. They're all like, get good! And then I spend time getting good, and then they just leave the game.
Okay.
And I'm like, well, I acquired this skill, so I guess I'll stay around. The final nail in the coffin, Fortnite's been uninstalled on all my consoles. Just because I'm sick of hearing the discussions about Fortnite. I'm sick of hearing those.
They know how to market. That's all I'm going to say.
They know how to market.
Of business.
But I'm also sick of like the cringy local TV station being like,
Fortnite's killing kids, and I'm like, no.
Fortnite addiction, and it's just because it's the new thing.
We went through the same thing with Minecraft, though. It's whatever gaming fad comes out.
Oh yeah, and the thing is, I got sick of Minecraft after a while for the same reason.
Yeah.
And the thing is, I walked into a Walmart and just saw like fucking Fortnite action figures, and I'm like,
Man, money's money, right?
money's money, and I know your game's free, but like, stop. And it just in general, Fortnite gave us the continuation of a trend in gaming, which ties back to our theme about caring what you make, which is...
I don't doubt the developers have fun with what they make, though.
Yeah.
I've seen some of the stuff they make, and that's why I like Fortnite better than any other Battle Royale.
Yeah.
Because
so
they
have
fun with it.
So what I was getting at is that, yeah, Fortnite is a great Battle Royale. I will never say that Fortnite is not a good game, is not a great game.
The reason it appeals to kids is because they do wacky shit with it.
But... it gave us that continuation of a trend in gaming that I do get frustrated with, which is something works,
and then people
everybody tries to copy it.
And it works for some people. Like I don't like Blackout and Black Ops 4. I don't really like... I can play it, but I don't... Like, it's not good. Like...
Yeah, but everybody tries to copy it, and it just gets frustrating. Like, one thing I give Blizzard credit for is that even though some people like Overwatch Battle Royale, they're like, no, we are our own game. I mean, granted, we stole everything from Team Fortress 2.
Yes, but it's okay.
But we did it better, and we will never do... I'm still an Overwatch player. Like, I fucking love that. It's 2 years old, and it's still, like, one of my all-time favorite games. What else is on that list? Sorry, we keep going on tangents, but this is the point of what we do. That's the point
of it, yeah. So July gave us a bunch of new ports, and Sonic Mania Plus, which I gotta play Sonic Mania. I heard really good play about it, but it's like a return to form for Sonic, which is cool. It was made by fans, which, hey, developers, fans know your game. You don't gotta take everything from their fans, but listen to your fans. They know usually what they like.
August was probably the sports games.
Yeah, there's nothing worse than a game developer misunderstanding what fans loved about a game series. August, we got a bunch of sports games in here.
I just recently got FIFA 19. It's FIFA.
Yeah.
I really don't... I can't put those games anywhere on my Game of the Year because nothing really changes.
It's the same game with an updated roster every
year.
And
maybe a mechanic changes, but like...
Madden.
Madden, I just played Madden 19 on Christmas Day at a family member's house. I refused to buy Madden until the day after the Super Bowl every single year, except for last year, which is probably why the Patriots lost. But because without fail, EA always does the same sale of, hey, it's the day after the Super Bowl. $20 for the digital copy.
It's not bad for a football game.
And
which is what it should be stock, I think. Well, whatever.
I like them. We can kind of talk a little EA with this, just because, like...
Sure. It's a year.
Well,
EA.
it's EA.
They didn't do a Star Wars Battlefront.
They didn't do a Star Wars, which is good. And, I mean, I guess I give credit that the people who work on the sports games tend to like the sports that they're doing with them.
I would hope.
So, and those are always... The only things I support from EA are the sports games.
And they're indie.
And their indie stuff, which even if I didn't buy the indie games that they announced for this year.
But they look cool.
They looked really cool. But, like, the only reason I purchased them is because I like the sports and I like playing the sports. But EA is just... I feel like you can't talk about EA. I mean, there's nothing to talk about with EA.
Everything's been said.
It's EA.
Yeah.
You either can overlook it...
Or hate them.
or hate them. And in some respects, I really don't like EA, especially because of what they're doing to Star Wars games, but...
What are you going to do?
It's EA.
August, what is this month?
But now we're in September.
Yeah, August gave us Naruto and Boruto Shinobi Striker, which is just a big Naruto game with a bunch of characters. I almost got it, but it looked lackluster, and I heard it was. So, sorry, Naruto fans. I feel you.
Yeah.
All right, so September. Do you remember the 21st of September? We got a couple of things. We got Gone Home, which I heard was a pretty cool indie game. Spider-Man.
Spider-Man. So I have not, full disclosure, I've not finished Spider-Man. I don't know if I'm going to finish Spider-Man.
So I'll avoid any spoilers for this.
So, the thing is, Spider-Man, as I continue to go into it, and I'll just say my thoughts before I let him rave about it, because I know he fucking loves Spider-Man.
I love Spider-Man.
And I really like it. I really do. It's like a solid, I mean, having not finished it, it's a solid 4 out of 5 game, in my mind. But for one thing, one of my earliest, like, more mature, I know they were all T except for the last one, but one of my earliest, more mature games that I ever really fell in love with was the Arkham games. And other than changing it because Batman and Spider-Man are different superheroes, so, like, and their fighting style is different, it's Spider-Man Arkham City, like...
Which I don't have a problem with.
Which, again, mechanically great. It is a mechanically great game. It fucking nails the Spider-Man that I don't understand.
Like, other games have tried to do a different style, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's just never stuck. I know some games were good, but, like, I think the Arkham style works really, really well with Spider-Man.
And I agree with you, but, like, for one thing, while I like Spider-Man, and I think is the best iteration of Spider-Man I've seen.
Yuri Lowenthal kills the role of Spider-Man. He absolutely kills it.
It's so much fun because it knows that Spider-Man's not serious.
Mm-hmm. He's a cheesy, campy superhero.
And you can run around the city high-fiving people. I'm like, this is what this needs to be. But something about the game is just not motivating me to finish it right now.
That's fair.
For one thing, I just have to say the MJ missions and what's the
Miles
name?
missions.
And the Miles missions really just stop the game dead in its tracks.
They
for
do.
Me.
At the end, they do get better because you get more. You get to do stuff as them. Like, MJ gets a taser. You can take out guards as MJ. And Miles, like, has, like, this big... I won't spoil it, but he has, like, this big, like, pseudo-boss fight thing going on.
Oh, okay.
So it does... It's not an excuse for the earlier missions, but it was just, like... They were more for story, but it does bog down it a lot.
And to me, the story is interesting, but I wasn't...
It's a Spider-Man story.
And the thing about it is like, going off of what we were saying earlier in 2 games that I think are higher up in my Game of the Year list, Detroit and God of War, they were these big, emotional, grand... And I know Spider-Man isn't that, so in some respects it's not fair to say it, but it was lacking that emotion to pull me in to the point where I really wanted to finish it really quick.
Yeah, there's...
And I had a stressful semester, and it came out during the school... Like, he can say that like, it was a bad time for me to be playing games.
I will say there is a lot of emotion at the ending act of the game. A lot of it. Like, it all comes together, and it's all, like, bombastic and big and emotional. And it's not gonna make you cry, but It's a Spider-Man story.
Yeah.
It's supposed to be fun, feel good.
I'm not shitting on this by any means. It is a phenomenally well done game. I just didn't... And I'll probably finish it eventually, but like...
It's backlog.
It's kind of into the backlog now. What else was in?
I just to keep going on Spider-Man for a little bit.
Oh, yeah. I'm sorry. I kind of hijacked. Go ahead. Talk about it.
What I liked about it is that, like... And the developer for Spider-Man 2, regarded as one of the best Spider-Man games of all time, played Spider-Man PS4, and he took a swing at the swinging mechanics at it, and he like commented about like, wow, this is really good. Like he loved it because you can swing around regularly, like hold R2, release R2, hold R2, release R2, but you get more skills and you get more familiar with the city, so that you don't want to fast travel. All you want to do is you want to swing because it feels so good to just keep masterfully swinging across the city, doing those different moves you picked up from your skill points. And the combat, it feels like it makes you feel like Spider-Man. I know that's the meme, right? But it's it really does. Because you press square and he does this like it's not all you're doing is mashing square like the Arkham games, but the animations, just like the Batman games, like it puts so much effort into it. Yeah. It's exactly how Spider-Man would fight,
and it feels. Not in the same way that Arkham did, where like obviously it was brutal.
It's faster paced.
It's fast paced, but it feels just as brutal. Like some of the takedowns are even more brutal than the Arkham games.
And the thing is with Batman can take a couple hits. He has armor. Spider-Man's a glass cannon. He's wearing spandex. That thing, you take a couple hits, you're down. And I like that because it's more focused instead of countering, dodging. You have to constantly be on your toes, and they use the Spidey sense perfectly for that.
I agree.
And it's like. I don't know.
It is a really mechanically sound game.
I think with everything going for it, it's probably one of the best Spider-Man stories and Spider-Man games that I've seen, at least in a very long time.
It's a better Spider-Man story than Homecoming was.
Or any of the other Spider-Man movies. I don't care. Yuri Lowenthal is the best Spider-Man. Fuck you, Holland.
I don't, though I liked, and we'll talk about that when we get into movies, I do like Holland in Infinity War, but we'll get there when we get to movies.
Alright, so next.
Sorry guys, this might have a lot of divulging. I mean, we're already here many ways in, but...
we got a South Park Stick of Truth for the Nintendo Switch port. A lot of ports. Oh, yeah. we got Life is Strange 2.
So we
opted out of it.
We opted out of that because the thing about it is, we played, as you know from the podcast, what was it even called? The Awesome Adventures of Captain Spirit.
Mm-hmm. Which is like the teaser for it, whatever. The demo.
Teaser, and we were just both...
We're jaded.
We weren't even mad. We were just like...
Yeah, that's how it is now, I guess.
This is unfortunately what this... And again,
if you like it, you like it. Fine.
You say jaded. Like, for one thing, I just get disappointed because... The good in the first Life is Strange, in my opinion, is still there. It's not much, but in that first game...
Just bogged down by everything.
Don't Nod had some potential to do something, but then Deck 9 fucked everything with Before the Storm, because, I mean, Before the Storm, can you say a prequel has sequelitis? Prequelitis.
Ed Review's trademark, prequelitis.
It had prequelitis of, like... It focused on, in my mind, the wrong things in Life is Strange. And from what I've read about Life is Strange 2, and our friend, shout out to Kevin, he's still a big Life is Strange guy.
Which is fine.
We've legitimately had discussions with him, and he's like, yeah, I mean, I disagree with you guys, but whatever, dude.
Like he still likes it. That's
like
fine.
He doesn't
People have tastes.
And for the record, I don't know anyone in that fan base who really, like, if you say you don't like it, gets like angry with you. I've not come across that yet, which I respect that fan base for being like, it's not for everybody. But the thing about it is from what I read about the first episode, like there's political commentary in it, and it just sounded like a weak game. Yeah. And I don't know what happened with that. I think it's supposed to be the kid with telekinesis. I don't know what happened mechanically.
Maybe that was just a tech demo for Life is Strange 2. Yeah, I don't know.
I don't know where it went, but I wasn't interested. I watched like 5 minutes of Jacksepticeye playing it. I was like, wow, this doesn't look fun.
Also in September, Telltale's going out of business. Sorry about that. Walking Dead last season. That's it for Telltale. Sorry.
Telltale.
I'm not surprised that they're going out
I'm
of
not surprised, but I also just feel bad because I played the first season of Telltale's Batman, And I liked it. I mean, it's not my favorite.
The thing is, you play one Telltale game, you play them all. That's the only thing. Walking Dead was the one that like changed the formula of Telltale games, and I loved the first season of The Walking Dead. I loved it so much. This is the same game over and over. It falls in the same traps that Life is Strange does. Your choices don't matter.
I still feel bad because I do feel bad because even in shitty choice games like Life is Strange, you still have to put in a little more thought than some developers do over branching stories. And anytime that, even if fucking EA shut down, I would still feel bad for people who lost their jobs. Especially because, and now I don't remember how much of this is true, but especially because what was it that was happening when they shut down Telltale? They forced them to work without pay to finish the last season of Walking Dead.
And that's the thing. I think
that like bothered me because I'm like, pay them. Whoever went back, like
EA is a publisher. Publishers and developers are two very different things.
Yeah.
And I don't feel bad for publishers if they go out of business. The only reason I feel bad for them is because they won't be able to publish the games the developers make. Developers, I don't think there's a developer out there that wants to make a shitty game. There probably are, but they don't hit mainstream.
Yeah.
I think the problem is deadlines, budget cuts, and just demands that the publisher makes.
Exactly.
They got them in a vice grip, and they know they do. Because if you're not with one of the big companies, you're not going to get a game out. That's just how it is right now, and that sucks because your game is going to get gutted more than likely. Yes. Unless you're a big name like God of War, and people would freaking rage if you took shit out of that. But I don't know. It's bad. It's.
And I just feel bad. Like I hope the people at Telltale.
I wish them all the best. Like I hope
wish them all the best, and they get jobs.
They gotta find people like.
Yeah.
There's gotta be.
I'm sure Quantic Dream will scoop some of them up.
All right, what do we got next? We got October. We're getting into the holiday season now, boys. I got Super Mario Party for the Nintendo Switch.
Now I have it. It's Mario Party,
it's
good.
Yeah, there's never really been except for the car. They got rid of the car, which is yay.
And the thing I have to give Mario Party credit for is the cool mechanical things they do with the Switch.
Yeah,
but that's what a Mario Party is just
try
new things. Yeah. Try new things with whatever console they're on.
Mega Man 11, I played a little bit of it. I played a demo. It was pretty fun. I've never really been a Mega Man guy myself, but I can definitely see the appeal of it. Yes. It's just good old-fashioned, old-school arcade fun. That's all it is. And Assassin's Creed Odyssey, I've heard mixed things about it. You either love that game or you hate its guts.
From what I remember about Odyssey from the UB event, which I didn't initially see it. I watched it right before we filmed the podcast.
It seemed ambitious.
It seemed ambitious, but it
Ubisoft
felt to me. I said this at the E3 after watching the trailer for E3, and you agreed 100%. And I wonder if that's why, because I had said at the time it felt to me the most like Assassin's Creed 4, the pirate one, where. Yeah, you're calling it an Assassin's Creed game.
But it's not.
It's not an Assassin's Creed game.
Just make it a new IP. You could make that a new IP.
The thing about it is that from what I remember, 4 is the same way. People either loved it because it did something new with Assassin's Creed and really didn't follow the tropes. If I remember correctly, it was the same kind of division of people who wanted an Assassin's Creed story were kind of pissed because we didn't get it.
But that's the thing. You could have made that a new IP, Assassin's Creed 4. Definitely, absolutely.
Yeah. They did eventually.
Sea of Thieves. But like, there's just I don't get Ubisoft, but they're Ubisoft. Black Ops 4 came out, and I got a lot to say about this.
So I will just say, I'm gonna let him have the floor. I was interested in the only reason I was interested in Black Ops was because. They reworked a lot of multiplayer, right?
Yeah, it's completely different now.
But the thing about it is it still didn't sound like... Again...
It's not for everyone.
I am someone who really, other than Overwatch, doesn't like first-person shooters. Mm-hmm. And just to say why it is that I have this perspective, Overwatch to me works because, one, it's silly as shit. Like, Blizzard is still having... The Blizzard fucking Yule-log this year. The Overwatch Yule-log was amazing. But that game works because, like, there's so many different ways for so many different play styles. Like I'm a Tracer main because I can't aim for shit, but you can still do a lot of damage when you can't aim with her. And it's just fun for me. And my only perspective on Black Ops 4 was there's no campaign, right? Like,
there's no campaign. Which if you play the Black Ops 3 campaign, you're not disappointed that it's gone.
The thing is, I have said this, and he and I have disagreed, and a former friend of mine and I have disagreed on this. I just get not frustrated, but I have not enjoyed COD really at all, to be perfectly honest. And the thing is, people who try and defend it because they're saying, "Oh, there's a story," are lying because they're never playing the story.
Black Ops 1 and 2 did have a very good story.
I did hear, and the thing is, to me, Black Ops almost feels like a sports game.
Yeah.
In that, what did you slightly change? I know 1 and 2 are said to have good stories. I believe that. Yeah. I'm not going to play through them because I at one point, I know it's a different franchise. I played like the Battlefield World War I game.
Yeah, well, yeah.
And even though I'm good at Overwatch, it doesn't translate to the more realistic shooters.
What I liked about Black Ops 1 too is that Black Ops 1 told a Vietnam story, right?
Yes.
Which was at that time when we were flooded with World War II shooters. That was new.
Yeah.
And then it told the story of your character had a voice, it had a name, you had a character, you had characters you cared about. That was like, whoa, dude, it wasn't groundbreaking, but it was really good. Then Black Ops 2 came around, and that was a time of really, really futuristic shooters.
Yeah.
Near future.
Yes.
So it was modern day shooter, but you had little bits of technology that were really interesting and cool, especially in the campaign because you could work with that, and you played as the main character's son from the previous game. You still had to fight this big terrorist dude. It was cool, and that had choices in it. Mattered more than Life is Strange because it would change how the outcome.
I believe it.
So and then Black Ops 4. Now here's
So I'm not a big COD person. I ended up passing on it. I was tossing up playing it, but I didn't want what happened with any other shooter after Overwatch, and I tried to jump on with Mike and our mutual friend of, if I got good at it, they'd just leave as I finally got good. So I'm going to let him talk about Black Ops.
So I had a lot of hope for Black Ops 4. I pre-ordered it just because I wanted to do the beta. Don't pre-order. It's a bad idea. I just did it because I'm dumb. So the beta was pretty good. It was good for a beta. I had a lot of fun. I played for a while. I got 40 kills a game. It was great. It felt good. The changes they made were really cool. Then launch came. Launch was an absolute butt-fuck disaster. It was horrible. Game was nothing changed from the beta, and that's bad. Game, especially zombies was crashing every second. There were so many blue screens, so many crashes, glitches across the board. UI was garbage. Just so much crap that wasn't in there that were in the previous games that were just omitted. And we still got that problem. But the problem is they don't talk with us. They don't say anything to us. They're doing it behind the scenes, and they don't communicate. They're slowly fixing it, and I'm sure the game will get to an acceptable point at some point. I'm having fun with it. I'm not as into it as Black Ops 2 because I'm not coming back to it a lot. It has the potential to be the best COD game. It just didn't launch, and I think that was Activision being Activision. They were like, you gotta fuck.
God, I hope Activision doesn't end up acquiring Blizzard like I've been reading.
I think they will, and that's gonna suck because.
Well, but the thing is, to go off of something, if you don't mind me cutting you off for a second, to go off on that, just as a comparison, and I know this isn't really end of the year related because Overwatch is a 2-year-old game, but going back to our main theme of caring about what it is that you make, 2 years later, the people at Blizzard are still talking to us. And they're still like, hey, here's Jeff Kaplan, the man, the myth, the legend, is like, hey, what do you think about these things? They hear community feedback. They listen to you. They care about their... Blizzard, which is why it'll suck if Activision buys them, unless they still let Blizzard be Blizzard.
Which I hope they do.
Blizzard is such a good... Even though I've not played any Blizzard games besides... I think I played Hearthstone for a little and then Overwatch. Blizzard is so good because it knows and cares about its community.
Yeah, and that's a big thing. You have to care about your community to have a good game. You just do, especially an online game. Because if your customers are playing your game, they're not happy with it, your game's going to flop.
Yeah.
And, I guess that's it. I don't know. I hope they learn their lesson, and I hope it gets to the point I want it to be. because I'm having a lot of fun with the zombies. It just keeps crashing on me every 3 seconds. But they fixed they said they were going to prioritize stability before adding new content. Whatever. I'd rather you fix your game. They wanted to beat the deadline of Red Dead 2.
I believe it.
It got pushed back a couple weeks because we're like, we want to beat Red Dead 2. And Treyarch was like, huh? And so they had to release their beta state game. And they haven't been able to recover for now. And I'm looking through October trying to find another one. We got Dark Souls Remastered, which I heard was cool. Soul Calibur 6 is funny. Because the character, you've probably seen the memes, the character creation thing where you can just make anything. You can make Shrek, you can make Mr. Meeseeks, you can make literally any character you can think of, you can make it in Soul Calibur 6.
Oh, wow.
And I'm not I used to like it. I don't know. Just Dance 2019, best game 2019.
Oh, totally. Just Dance for me, it's like a sports game again.
Yeah.
What do you do besides new music?
Yeah. Then we got Red Dead 2, so I guess I'll talk about this for a little bit.
So the only reason, I flat out really liked the ideas of Red Dead. Like, I legitimately thought it looked cool. Then I heard 65-hour campaign.
Yeah.
And open world.
Yeah.
So that means 3 years from now, if I started it right now and worked on it, I'd just be finishing it.
You'd be in chapter 3. Yeah.
Like, the way I play an open world game is different from, like, I don't grind. And it doesn't sound like it's the kind of game where you were telling me that there's fucking, like, there's horse feeding mechanics.
Yeah.
Where you have
to dress appropriately for the weather. Yeah. You have to make sure your horse is nice and fed and brushed clean. It all has gameplay affections, so you're not just doing it to just do it, you know what I mean? It all has affections on your game.
So, what I said to him was, it sounds like, because if I were to, say, review something like this, or finish it for end of the year awards, when I grind an open world game, I pretty much just skip side quests.
Yeah.
And this sounds like the kind of game you can't skip side quests. At all. Like,
yeah, I mean, you could, but like...
And again, this semester in particular, I have to admit, this fall was really bad for me to get single-player stuff done.
Yeah.
I just slacked off. I didn't slack off. I had medical issues.
Which I've been talking to you about the games I've been playing.
Yeah, and he has been keeping me up to date with certain things. Oh, we missed, by the way, in September, I don't know why it wasn't on that list, the new Tomb Raider.
Oh, right.
I didn't get a chance to start it yet. I'm still working on Rise.
I'm assuming it's going to be another Tomb Raider. Yeah.
And I legitimately like the Tomb Raider games. Like, they're fun, but like it definitely wouldn't be something that would have made my game of the year, I think.
All right, so Red Dead 2, it's immersion. Like, you know how GTA is like fun? Red Dead is realism, immersion. Sometimes too much for me, but like people like that. People love immersion. And
his former coworker, my coworker, just a funny aside, he goes, Corey, shout out to Corey. He goes, yeah, I bought Red Dead this weekend. I'm like, that's a lifestyle choice. Best of luck.
Yeah, so if you like open world grinding games, you're gonna love it. It follows in the first Red Dead, you're John Marston tasked with killing your gang, your outlaw gang that you used to run with, to help your wife and child be free of federal custody. Like, that's your deal, right? So you go and you kill all of them, and that's it. There's a spoiler at the end. I'm not going to spoil it for you. But this game is a prequel to that. So you're playing as Arthur Morgan, and you're playing when John was in the gang. So you like, because you can just kill all the outlaws in the first game. Oh, they're bad guys. They humanize them in this game. They're just a big old family. They're a gang. They're trying to run from civilization, because that's how outlaws were. Yeah. Because that was a lifestyle in the West in like 1899. The civilization was starting to go. Lawmen were trying to crack down on the outlaws, and the outlaws, it was a way of life, and they were dying out. So they had to keep running and running and running just to try to keep their lifestyle alive. And you lose people along the way, and it's kind of heartbreaking just to see your big old family just dwindle down, because your time is over, and you know it's over, but you got to keep going, because that's how you do it. And there's a karma system. You got to eat. You got to do all that garbage. There's a wanted system, a bounty system.
I said to Mike, this sounded way too involved for my taste.
But I think it's to the story's compliment.
Oh, yeah. I believe it. Like, I believe that it sounds really impressive, and it sounds like the people at, what's the studio for that?
Rockstar always makes pretty good games. Like, sometimes their game design can be a little outdated, but they make quality games. Like, you can't not expect a quality game from Rockstar. That's just how it is. We also got a bunch of Deltarune, which is a sequel to Undertale. I have yet to play it, but I kind of want to. I really liked Undertale. I beat Sans in high school, and I was screaming in class, and Mr. Humiston was mad at me. So now we got November. What came out in November? We got Diablo 3 Eternal Collection for the Switch. Yay, Diablo on Switch. I love that. We got Hitman 2. Now, I love Hitman's game design. I haven't really picked it up a lot, but it's a big old level with everything starts scripting, and you have to figure out how to kill a target. Now, you can just go up and shoot the man if you really want, but that's kind of boring. What you want to do is you want to take out a cook, take his disguise, poison the guy's meal, and watch it all go down.
I played a demo for a Hitman game.
They're fun.
They're cool.
It's cool sandbox, arcadey stealth game, and being a Metal Gear fan, I love that. Yeah. Ooh, it's so good. But I haven't played Hitman 2 yet. I'm still working on the first one. Fallout 76. Ooh, boy, how
Bethesda is on fire right now.
Did you hear about the bag? Did you hear about the bag controversy?
His former coworker, my coworker, Brett, has been keeping me up to date on how bad Bethesda has... How
it saddens me, really.
A developer that we fucking praised as the best thing at E3, how far that star has fallen. Like
they botched that launch harder than Black Ops 4. Like they said fuck you to your customers. That's what they did. They released an unfinished, buggy, empty game, and for the collector's edition, they promised a canvas bag. And this may sound small, but it's big. And they gave a cheap nylon bag to everybody. And this was an expensive collector's edition. They really just put a lot of cuts to it that they didn't need to. And
apparently morale is really low at Bethesda right now.
I don't see how it could be. And I guess, yeah, they worked hard on it, but, like, come on. Like, if your game isn't ready to launch, don't launch it.
Delays happen.
I think it was Shigeru Miyamoto. He said it best. A rush game is bad forever. Like No Man's Sky. It's better now, but no one's going to play it because it ruined itself.
Yeah.
No one's going to play Fallout 76 now. And people who enjoy it, good. I hope it gets better for you, but I'm not picking it up.
Yeah, I was really disappointed because I was
looking into it. I was like, if it's good, I'll pick it up and I'll play it. I'll play with my buds. I always wanted to play a Fallout game with my buds. I always wanted to play a Skyrim game. There's mods that do it better than Fallout 76 does.
Yeah.
Because all it is Fallout. It's the same Fallout 4 engine, same Fallout 4 assets, but now you got multiplayer and an empty map. That's all you got.
It sounds to me like, even though Bethesda doesn't have a parent company as far as I know.
No, they don't.
But it sounds like some suit who didn't care about the creativity got involved and just dicked with everything.
Yeah.
That from everything that my friend Brett, who like read up on that more than I did, told me, it sounds like somebody at Bethesda just cared about profits and didn't care about creativity.
And you can tell when that happens. You can really tell. And I'm glad the gaming community is starting to get sick of that crap.
Yeah.
I'm glad we are.
I agree.
Let's go Pikachu, let's go Eevee. I'm on the fence about
Pokemon!
I'm waiting for the real Pokemon game next year. This is more just casuals getting into it. That's fine. I don't have an issue with it. It looks like an upscaled 3DS game is the only problem I have with it. Yeah. It doesn't look like a Switch game. But other than that, I don't really have an issue with it.
I'm not big into Pokemon because I'm not really big into RPGs.
It exists, is what I'm going to say. If you have never played Pokemon before, pick it up. It's fun. It's if you like Pokemon Go, pick it up. Battlefield 5, didn't play it, don't know anything about it. I heard it was okay. Another Battlefield, you know.
And they have Battle Royale too.
They have.
Oh, you know what? I think Brett
coming
was
soon.
Yeah. Brett was telling me like Battlefield, nothing's done.
Is it all just unfinished?
Nothing's done. A bunch of the game there's certain game modes like multiplayer's in. Their campaign I think is done, but a bunch of the stuff they promised just isn't done.
Awesome.
It's gonna hit in the spring.
Thank you, DICE, for also fucking
DICE and EA. Gotta love it.
Darksiders 3. I have not played Darksiders 2 yet. I'm working on it, but I'll get back to you. What else have we got? We have Ark Survival Evolved for the Nintendo Switch. Now we're in December. What came out this month?
Smash.
Okay, let's fuck it. Nothing about Smash but Smash. All right, you go, and then I'm going to go, boom. I'm going to go on a big tangent, but you go first.
So, I mean, we talked about it a little bit earlier in kind of our beginning of the discussion about what we like this year. But, I mean, I picked up Smash. I was planning to pick it up from the beginning because since, like, Smash, Wii U, and 3DS, I do really like the Smash games. I think they're fun. But to me, we have like a group message with a bunch of like our friends that play video games, and I said what I think about Smash. To me, I've always played that as a casual game.
And that's fine.
And it's a party game.
Yeah, that's how it is for a lot of people. It used to be for me.
Like, I tried its campaign that it tried to do. What is it called?
The Subspace Emissary? Or the World of Light in this one?
The World of Light.
World of Light in this one, yeah.
In this one, it was... I tried that.
It's the event battles just put into a big, like, story-ish kind of thing. It's not story. It's probably just gameplay over story. And they told us that.
And it's Smash. I like it. I think it's mechanically sound. But it's Smash. Like, and again, I give Sakurai credit because when I say but it's Smash, that means but it's a damn good fighter.
The bar for quality on a Smash Bros. Game is, you can't see me, it's above any roof you have.
Smash needs to be excellent, and Sakurai delivers
every
time.
They're system sellers. Yeah. That's what sells a system. Like, that's... And all right, let me tell you why Smash Bros. Is the greatest video game of all time. It's the greatest...
Take a guess what his game of the year is.
It's Smash Bros, baby. You know it. I know it. Everyone knows it. All right, so back in the N64 day, we had just this game called Dragon Fighters, right? Everyone knows this. And it's like this just dumb polygon garbage. But they're like, what if we did Nintendo characters with that? Now, the idea of Nintendo characters beating the shit out of each other was a novel idea back in the day. And boy, howdy it was. Because you never saw all these characters interact with each other. You always have those playground arguments. Well, Kirby would beat Pikachu. I'm like, no, you wouldn't. Then you could settle it in Smash. That's the meme. Settle it in Smash. And it always has been. Throughout the ages, Melee still has a big competitive fighting scene. Like, huge. And that's the thing. There hasn't been a game like Smash where you could have super casuals and you have super competitive players and everything in between. It's completely customizable to what you want it to be. And now that they're adding third-party characters in, like Cloud and Bayonetta, Smash Bros. Has become, you're solidifying a gaming legacy. You are a legacy character. You belong in the history of gaming. You matter. Pac-Man, the Fire Emblem, like, they all, another thing it does, it introduces you to obscure series. Olimar? Who is that? It's from Pikmin. I know a lot of people who love Pikmin because of Smash. Fire Emblem only came over to the US because of Smash Brothers. It has this innate ability to bring people together and just make any game it represents, boom. It also represents a lot of the series, right? So imagine a character you have, like Link, right? He plays exactly like you think he would. The fan service in that game is beyond compare. Because every character's moveset, every character's, like, anything, is so faithful to their series, and they're so booming with character that it's just amazing. I can't fathom how good it is, like, at just a fundamental level. I don't know. I'm nerding about it because I love that game so much, and I love that team. Kudos to you, Sakurai and team. Kudos to you. That's
you want to wrap gaming then?
Yeah, that's right.
So that was gaming. Wow, we went like an hour on just gaming.
I know.
The other stuff will be kind of quicker
because it was an awesome year for gaming.
It really was, like, more than any other medium of entertainment that we talk about here on Ed Reviews. Mm-hmm. This was a phenomenal year in gaming, especially on PlayStation. Not to brag, but to brag, we did have a good year at PlayStation.
Every heavy hitter was mostly a PlayStation exclusive.
Just about. So I guess let's just do music quickly because there's not too much to really talk about in music because what we do, and I'm debating next year just striking this category altogether. I've been talking to him because I'm learning more and more my taste in music, and we were saying this in the car ride. We were just hanging out with friends before we decided to do this. On the car ride over to see our friends, I was just kind of saying to him, because we were talking about this pod, I was saying that I'm learning more and more that my taste in music is specific as shit. Like, I thought, I have a good taste in music. I like, my favorite artists right now are like Owl City, Philip Phillips, Taylor Swift, Echo Smith, The Score. And I thought, they're kind of different because they're kind of different genres. But, as everybody points out to me, No, you like positive music. That is your genre, sir. And I don't disagree with that, and the more I was like, yeah, but... So I'm kind of debating whether or not to even keep this next year. This year we have it, and I just kind of do an Artist of the Year and an Album of the Year. And for me, I mean, Artist of the Year, big fucking shock if you know me personally, it's going to Taylor Swift this year. And in my mind, it's hard to argue that somebody else had a better year than she did. Rep, though it came out in 2017, it was our 2017 Album of the Year, continued to destroy in sales. Delicate, the single, I think technically came out 2018. It crushed. She broke a fuck ton of records that she herself owned. She destroyed on the Reputation Stadium tour. She broke, I think, her own record for highest grossing female tour of the year. She crushed it, and like as a member of her fan base, the Reputation Stadium tour was the closest. And again, I'm new to the fan base, but still, it's the closest we've ever felt to her.
Yeah, because
Reputation as an album was her taking the narrative back almost of, you want to shit on me? That's great. Well, I'm doing, not to quote a line from the song, I'm doing better than I ever was, because she took control of her narrative again. You look at everything, I know it was 2017, but her suing the radio DJ who sexual assaulted her for $1 just as a concept, the way that she used her voice in the 2018 midterms, she had an incredible year as a person, as an artist, and that is why she is, in my mind, Artist of the Year. And yeah, last year we gave it to Echo Smith because I just wanted to give Echo Smith something, but this year I can't, and I know I just kind of like made it very hard to pull above that, but like I don't know how she can't, even if you don't like her music per se, I don't know how you look at that year and say, unless you're like a real dick, I don't know how you look at that year and say, she's not at least one of the best artists of the year just in the amount of success she had.
Yeah. So for me, music is just subjective in every way, shape, and form. But two artists that really stuck out to me, and they're completely opposite spectrums too. I think if I had to give an Artist of the Year, it'd be a Ninja Sex Party, a comedy band. They're just really... They make dumb songs, they make funny songs, and they make genuine songs too. Danny Don't You Know is a really, really solid song. But they're just really genuinely nice guys. Like, they're not very big. They get a lot of views on YouTube, but they're not big in the music industry.
Yeah.
But this year, they got on Conan.
That's huge.
That's huge.
That's huge.
For a small comedy band?
Yeah.
That's
huge.
Huge, dude. And Danny's on Game Grumps, which that's a huge YouTube channel, but like his music career has really started booming this year. They sell out every show they do. I think they're going international next year, I think. And it's heartwarming to see a small band, especially one that's comedic and one that has a lot of heart, grow like that. And the two like genuinely good guys, like the one character, Ninja Brian, he used to be a physics professor in London. That's just how it is. They're just really awesome guys, and they deserve a lot more recognition than they have. Album of the Year?
So,
what's up?
Well, and that's it for your artist?
Yeah, that's it for artist, yeah.
So, Album of the Year, I'm going to give my noms, and I if you don't mind me just going back and forth. I'm going to give my like kind of nominations. I'm really still tossed up about it, to be perfectly honest with you. I have, again, like last year, it's the albums I bought this year. Mm-hmm. Philip Phillips's album Collateral, I think is the name. His new and we waited, as somebody who legitimately likes Philip Phillips, the last album, Behind the Light, was 2014. So we waited like 4 years for him to get out. he had so much trouble. I think he was with so much trouble after Idol with getting his label stuff done. But that whole time he was writing, and he was writing music, and he has, on that album is some of his most beautifully passionate music that I've ever seen. He is, I describe him as a mix of folk, soul, and almost country-esque kind of a music. One in particular, one song that really hit me was Dance With Me, which is a song that he wrote when he and his fiance were just engaged, and it ended up being the song they danced to at their wedding as their first dance. And you just listen to that song, and like it gives me chills. I'm a sap when it comes to good romantic music, and it is such a phenomenal song. And that album, for the most part, other than a couple that I don't particularly like, it is a really solid album. Also this year was Camila Cabello's debut album entitled Camila.
Very creative.
Most of the time, debut artists will just title their first album their name. Camila was the opener on the Reputation Stadium tour. And I like her a lot. There's a lot of power in her voice. I think, like
I think her mainstream hits don't do her justice.
Havana and Never Be the Same don't really do her justice.
She comes off as another pop singer, but I don't.
And in some respects, she is. But her slow ballads, Consequences Orchestra, which is a version that I really think should have been on the album and not a single. Almost a year later.
Isn't it amazing how pop artists are like really cool when they do ballads because they can actually sing some of them?
So the thing about Consequences, this is the song that sells me on her. Consequences, the album version is just her and a piano.
Yeah.
And her voice is stunning. It is such a powerful voice. And Consequences Orchestra, as it's called, is that same song with the piano, but with just an orchestra backing her, and it's another phenomenal addition. I really wish that was the original version that went on it. Owl City's new album, Cinematic.
Fiji Water.
Mike is a big fan of the song Fiji Water.
It's so dumb, but it's
so dumb, but it's so. But that's Owl City, though, isn't it?
Yeah, that is.
Like,
they did Fireflies. If you don't like it. That's how they are. That's cool.
They're really weird, dumb songs, but also what I like
good.
about him is when you also hear him talk about his songs while they're dumb, they're based on his life. Like Cinematic in particular, Fiji Water is about him signing his first album record. And he just remembers that there was Fiji Water on the table. And the one I really like in that is on that album is called The 5th of July. Which you might have heard in my car once or twice, which is a song he wrote talking to his parents about the day he was born, the day Adam Young was born. And it is a really, not bizarre is not the right word because that sounds like it's mean. It is a very weird experience to listen to, but it's because of how he manages to tell a story in a song.
Yeah.
Like the story of his own birth. You feel the genuine, and that's what I love about him. And then my only other nomination for Album of the Year is the soundtrack to Anna and the Apocalypse, which we'll talk about when we get to movies. Yeah. I'll save it for that. And then you...
I really only listened to one full album. There was a lot of songs I liked and stuff like that. Like, what a band NSP shouted out was Sky Factor, and they just do like some good old-fashioned rock and roll, really small band. They also deserve a lot more credit than they deserve. And the only album I really listened to was Eminem's Kamikaze, and I know you're not a big rap guy.
Not at all.
But, he brought it, a lot of people were giving him shit because his last album, Revival, was not that great, but it was more like, it was him trying to be more himself kind of thing, but then he brought it back this time, because everyone was like, oh, you're washed out, you're old, because he's 50 now. So he's an old dude, but he still got it because he brought the new styles of rap and brought it into his own style too, and he did it better than any one of them could. He called out a lot of people as you do in the rap game, and
reasons I don't like rap.
Yeah, well, that's just how it is. And he shut down a lot of the criticisms that he gave him out of, but he just showed that he's a master storyteller and a master lyricist. There's no debating that. Like
I would agree with that from what I've heard of him.
Every story, like he used to have a band called D12 that just one of the members died, and it was a really bad time because you know how hip hop was, especially back in the day. It was a dirty business, and so he made a really like heartfelt, brought it back to a 2002 style, and just talked about how like he regrets that he used them all like stepping stones, but he didn't mean to. But that's just how fame is, and he regrets it every day of his life, and he's just saying sorry to that. Like, despite being a rapper, he's very humble. There's no bigger critic of himself than himself. Like it baffles me how genuine he is and how he manages to just kick ass nowadays. I don't know. I liked it a lot. Yeah, that's basically it. That's the only really album I listened to fully. Movies?
Yeah, let's do movies.
Infinity War. Let's just start off with the big one. Big boy. Big daddy.
Sure. When I do the awards, I do like actor, actress, and stuff. But we're just going to talk about the movies we enjoyed. And, I mean, for the most part, I pulled performances for actor and actress of the year from the movies we're about to talk about. Yeah. So we almost don't need to.
Yeah.
So let's talk about Infinity War. A spectacle. I saw it with him initially. He had already seen it when I first. We were up in Boston to see a concert, and then the next day, because we stayed overnight. Shout out to the Boston Park Plaza. You nickeled and dimed us to death, just as a joke. Infinity War. Now when I was younger and more irritating, said I'm a DC fan. I fucking hate Marvel. But as I started to slowly kind of get back into, I saw Guardians of the Galaxy, and I fucking love Guardians of the Galaxy. I mean, who doesn't love Guardians of the Galaxy?
Hashtag rehire James Gunn, you dumb shit. Sorry.
I agree with that, so I have no issue with that. But Guardians, to me, embraces what I really do think that is the best strength in the Marvel Cinematic Universe is its ability to be silly among everything else, and it was detached from the stuff that I don't like as much. I mean, I like Downey Jr. as Iron Man.
They brought the characters from the comic books to life. In the obscure Guardians of the Galaxy is a really obscure comic book series. Yeah. And it's a mainstream now.
And I love Chris Pratt too, which doesn't
Chris Pratt's awesome.
So I really like those, and then I remember liking. I don't remember much about it. I liked the first Thor, and Thor Ragnarok was one of our favorite films of 2017.
I love the rework on Thor.
We both loved that movie to death. And also this year was Black Panther, actually before this.
Oh, all right. That came out in February.
I almost forgot.
This year was long, man.
This was a long, good year for entertainment.
Yeah.
So first, I guess we can kind of hit on Black Panther.
Yeah, really good villain. Really solid villain.
Really good villain.
Michael B. Jordan kills it.
Really good story because it's...
Wakanda's such an interesting place.
It's such a wonderful place, and I compared in my review, which there is a review we did... I compared it to, it was one part like almost James Bond-esque international, not spies, but like international thriller, one part superhero movie, one part like political espionage thriller.
Because he's a king, and he's also a hero.
It's like, and it created one of the most, I go back and forth between Thor, Ragnarok, and Black Panther being my favorite MCU films. Because Black Panther feels the least Marvel to me, if that makes any sense, because it's not. I mean, there's jokes, I guess.
Yeah.
But it's not funny. It's like a really serious, but good serious.
I love
story.
movies that challenge the question, what is right and what is wrong.
And that one did.
That's what I liked about Infinity War too.
And so that was it. And so we can go into Infinity War. My thoughts on Infinity War. It's up there for one of my favorite films of the year.
And it's important to remember it's one half of a film.
It's one half of a film. Endgame will do. I mean, I said I gave it a 5 out of 5 on the channel, though I did say I think it has its problems.
Oh, yeah, every film does.
I think it has its problems specifically in its third act. he and I disagree on this. I mean, to kind of give you spoilers for Infinity War, though who hasn't seen it at this point?
Who hasn't seen the memes?
I take issue with just... And it's a question of, can the end of a movie kill a movie for you? And it doesn't kill it for me at all. But I have issues with the snap as somebody who really does appreciate... Well, one, reads up on just production notes. Mm-hmm. To me, the snap, while there were some good, like, powerful moments, the snap didn't feel genuine because I'm like, well, he has his sequel confirmed. He has his sequel confirmed. You have your sequel confirmed. Like, what was Black Panther, like, was... What did it slide into, like, the third highest grossing domestic film of...
Yeah.
Like, 3 months before Infinity War, Black Panther crushes it at the box office to the point where Disney would be would be stupid to not do a sequel. I think they confirmed it, like, a week after the movie came out, that, yeah, we'll do a second one. And the thing is, when Chadwick Boseman's character dies in that, it's... Yeah, but you just crushed it at the box office a couple months ago. We know you're going to be back. We know this isn't the end for you.
My counter argument to that was always, with any entertainment, you have to have a certain level of immersion and suspension of disbelief. When I first watched that movie, I in the back of my mind, of course I knew there was going to be more. Like, of course. It's like when you read the first book, like if a whole series of books comes out and you read the first one. You know the main character's not going to die. You just want to see what happens. And I knew that, and if you read the comics, you already knew what was going to happen, basically. The point is, or at least I thought the point is, like, you're living in the moment. The characters don't know what's going on. They don't know they're coming back for Spider-Man Homecoming 2. They're dying.
Yeah.
They're dying
now,
to them. That's like...
With, you say, Spider-Man Homecoming, one of the best scenes, and I don't like Tom Holland as Spider-Man.
Mr. Stark, I don't feel so
I know it's a meme.
But it was powerful, dude.
It was like Holland... Because in that moment, for one thing, you see Stark being like, I fucked up by bringing this kid into all this.
Mm-hmm. But he couldn't do anything because they were on the ship.
Yeah, but then you see Peter Parker scared for his life as a kid would be in that situation.
He's like I think in that movie he's a 16-year-old kid,
yeah.
I'm pretty sure.
It's exactly, and that was really powerful. I know everybody's like, Star-Lord ruined everything.
It's in character.
The most powerful scene for me, it was before the snap, but the most powerful scene is when he ruins everything and Thanos gets the whichever stone it is.
He killed his girlfriend.
Girlfriend.
And Peter Quill's a hothead. That's who he is. He of course he's gonna ruin everything. That's what he does. He does that.
He lost it, but like it wasn't out. The thing that I couldn't understand from the Marvel fanboy was like, there were people like, "Yeah, Quill ruined everything. How could he? That was why didn't he be rational?"
I think that's just viewer discomfort too. That's
and
just
I'm
like,
just,
come on, man, like, come on, like, yeah.
And I'm sitting there like, no, that was perfectly.
That's
what Quill would do in that situation.
And of course, that's the audience reaction they want. They're like, "No, damn it, Quill, don't do like Iron Man was like, don't you fucking do it, Quill."
But I'm sitting here like, I mean, again, I feel bad, but again, he also died because of his like. It wasn't like he lived through it. He died for making that mistake.
And let's talk about the big boy himself, Thanos. One of my favorite villains, I think.
I like him.
Even though you know this plan's dumb, Josh Brolin is an amazing actor.
Yes.
He
Why
makes
is he in 2 Marvel movies?
I don't know. But that's
was
fine.
that a happy accident or was that on purpose?
Because he plays Cable really well too in Deadpool too. But even though you know what he's doing is wrong, I love bad guys that can make it look like they're human. They're human. As not human as he is. He watched his world die. Of course he went a little mad from that. He's like, I'm glad they made this change from the comics. He just wants the world to be, the universe to be a better place. That's all he wants. He wants people to be, he like makes you feel like, yeah, I'm right. And I love that. I love how he's like, well, what is right? Should we let him do it? Like what?
I agree with him there. And again, I really do like Infinity War. It's up there for me.
And the villain winning, that doesn't happen a lot in movies.
My mother. I saw this 2 times. which I rarely see something more than once in the theater.
But a movie like this, you
kind of. And the second time I walk out of it, my mother, who just is a hopeful innocent, more than me, she just says, "Well, I didn't really." Well, I mean, she liked the film, but she's like, "What the." This is Earth's mightiest heroes. Aren't they supposed to win?
And yeah, that's the point. The theme of the movie is failure.
Yeah.
And he says that. He's like it or not, destiny arrives, or I do. The first scene of the movie is, small spoilers, he kills Loki. And Loki's dead. Like, he's not coming back.
Yeah.
Like, the Hulk, the guy who's never lost a fight ever, he gets whacked by Thanos in one stone.
And that was a very cool fight, by the way.
That
was like legitimately just...
Like, he comes out. You think Hulk's, yeah, he's got it. And then just boom, 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 down.
Yep.
It's like, Heimdall's dead, and Thor's the only one that really lives. Though there was a line that said half the Asgardians, but maybe that's the remaining half. I don't know how it is. But
Hemsworth, by the way, just as always, crushes it as...
That movie kept me on the edge of my seat the entire time. Because you didn't know it was... You didn't know. Like...
And the only thing, like, and they're more nitpicks. I just was like, yeah, the snap didn't work wasn't as powerful for me as I wanted it to. And the other thing, too, I said, and as we were watching that movie in Boston, he just kept turning at that scene and just said, the snap of his fingers.
With the snap of
because
they keep alluding to it.
The thing about it is, I weirdly didn't think that, even though I know they said that it was a snap, I didn't, for some reason, I thought it wasn't going to just be.
It is a gauntlet.
But, like, it does the thing.
That's a testament to how powerful the Infinity Stones are.
Yeah. It was just like, oh, it's a literal snap, and then it just felt, and again, maybe it was my suspension of disbelief, it just felt so rushed because I'm like, yeah, kill him off so we can get to the next one, and...
I think that's kind of not like as realistic as it could be. Like, that's how it is. Like, they had their one shot, and in an instant, it's over.
Yeah.
And, like, you can see, like, when Captain America's at the end, he's sitting on the ground, he's like, what just happened?
Yeah.
None of them know what's going on. They're just like, we lost.
Yeah.
Did we lose? Like, that, it's just, boom, it's done. He teleports out of there, I think that ending scene where he just smiles at the sunset Thanos,
which is exactly what
that
he
was
said.
good.
Well, because that's what he said he would do. He's like, "What will you do?" I'm just gonna relax because I did what I wanted.
And he's like, he did it. He won, and he's like smiling. I like that, his little shit eating grin. He's just like, "Yeah, I did it."
Again, great. One of the great movies of that year. This year, early fall, or early spring, early winter, spring stuff. Just some quick hits.
Did Ready Player One come out this year?
It was this year. Before I do that, I saw Red Sparrow. You didn't see Red Sparrow.
Yeah, go into the ones you watched first.
Well, so that was up there on my list. I rewatched it about a week ago. It kind of went off my list because even though, again, really gripping, cool, interesting tale about spies in the modern, Soviets, essentially Soviet. That movie, sorry, I'm not explaining it well. That movie essentially makes the argument that the Cold War never ends. It never ended. Yeah. Even when the Berlin Wall fell, the Cold War wasn't over. It just became a war of espionage, and the Soviet Union just became Russia. Mm-hmm. It is a unrelentingly brutal tale about. And for one, it's based on a book, which I read the first few chapters of on my way up to PAX East. I never finished the book, but it's based on a book written by ex-CIA. And so the thing about it is you almost feel, I talked to my mom who watched it with me the first time. I said, do you really think that, even the U.S. government is tormenting people, torturing people the way that they show it in this movie? Because that movie, again, unrelentingly it's flat out disturbing at points. And first of all,
the Cold War, man, if you read up on that,
the two leads in that, Jennifer Lawrence and Joel Edgerton, are both absolutely fearless, and obviously a lot of it's effects, but a lot of it was practicals. The pain they must have endured in some of those torture scenes, because I can't imagine. Obviously, one scene in particular that I just can never get past when thinking about that movie. That really, I think, is what takes it off the list for me. Is there is a scene towards the end, and obviously they didn't actually do it. It's just alluded to heavily. They take a skin grafter and remove some of Joel Egerton's there's a genital mutilation scene. Again, the camera does not show it, but it is heavily alluded to. And, like, the next fucking day after I saw the movie, I'm like, fuck, that was disturbing.
Yeah.
And the thing is, even though, like, watching it, I got captivated again. Rewatching it, I got captivated again by the story. The torture scene. Jennifer Lawrence is raped twice in that movie. And, like, oh, it's not cut away, come back. It is, she's raped. And they're not scared to show it to you. And I'm like, what the fuck?
Shit ain't pretty, dude. Nothing
Yeah.
like that ain't pretty.
And that's, Red Sparrow was one. I saw the Tomb Raider movie. Alicia Vikander is up there for my actress of the year. Solely because... The only reason, because the movie is... Well, I enjoyed the movie because it was... To me, it captured what the game is and the fact that it's escapist entertainment.
Yeah.
Like, it's not...
I just wish you told a more unique story than just the game.
You
know what I mean?
It really is... It is the first... It's the story of the first 2013 reboot game.
Like, almost shot.
There are some scenes that are literally shot for shots of... But the reason Vikander is up there on my list is only because Vikander insisted on training to do every single stunt herself.
That's dedication.
There's no stunt woman. She's doing anything practical. She's doing that herself. That's why she's up there for my actress of the year. Is that even though, like, and again, I feel like Lara Croft as a character is kind of not a shell, but like. She's not that riveting, per se.
It comes from an old PS1 game. It's just like, this is adventurer woman.
But
go! Like, it's...
Vikander, her commitment to making it work was why I think, even though the movie may not be the best, it is one of the best performances of the year, I think.
Yeah.
You touched on Ready Player One.
I think it was just cool. Like,
it
wasn't groundbreaking. It was cool. Just to see
Ready Player One was a ton of fun. Into the summer. What was it?
Christopher Robin. Ooh, I love Christopher Robin. So much, dude. I almost cried. I'm not gonna.
I really. That was such a joyous film.
It was just such a feel good. Like, yeah, it's kind of.
Disney had Disney had a weird year.
Yeah,
I have to say.
You know.
I didn't see Wrinkle of Time, but I was watching today.
I like the music for Wrinkle of Time.
I was watching today another YouTube critic, Jeremy Jans, his worst list of 2018, and he put Wrinkle of Time as his number 2 worst film of the year.
Yeah.
Actually, 2 Disney movies made his worst of the year
It
list.
didn't do so hot. I work at a theater. It didn't do so hot.
I had no interest in it from its trailers.
It looked like way too complicated for a new IP kind of thing. It was like,
and it's based on a book too.
Yeah, which I think something like that works way better in a book than.
Yeah. And Oprah.
Oprah.
So it was weird because we can talk about Disney as a studio because they had 5 films this year.
Yeah, sure.
Because I think it was about 5. Don't quote us, but it's because it was Wrinkle of Time, Christopher Robin, Ralph Breaks the Internet, The Nutcracker, Poppins Returns.
Yeah.
So I think that was all the Disney movies this year.
I mean, if you want to count Infinity War.
Infinity War and Solo.
And... Oh yeah, Solo, Black Panther, and the Wasp came out too.
Oh, and Ant-Man. So
there's a lot of movies. That
8 if you count the subsidiaries of Disney. But
Solo wasn't bad. I'm gonna say it.
Yeah, I don't see why people hate it so much.
It was
fun.
He did a fine job as Han. It was just a fun.
Yeah, it was a fun Star Wars.
I still like Rogue better as a Star Wars story.
I agree with you.
But it wasn't bad. I didn't mind it. I think he did as well a job as he could, trying to imitate Harrison Ford. And Childish Gambino as Lando, really good. I like him.
So to go back to, we can kind of talk a little bit about the year Disney had, because I consider myself not huge, but I love Disney.
I mean, if you like any movie now, you're a Disney fan, right? Because Disney
they own all.
They have a monopoly. I'm going to be honest,
but I really do legitimately love Disney when it can be awesome and creative.
Yeah,
which was a weird mix this year because I admit I didn't see Wrinkle of Time and I didn't see Nutcracker in the Four Realms, but I saw the other 3 major Disney releases: Ralph Breaks the Internet, Christopher Robin, and Poppins Returns. Just I'll kind of quick hit through the 3 of them, because you saw
you did a review on Ralph. So
yeah, Ralph, and we talked about Ralph's, and you can kind of go see our thoughts on that. Nothing groundbreaking, still good.
It wasn't bad.
Christopher Robin, he loves. I love. Phenomenal. Ewan McGregor.
Ewan McGregor is just a great fucking actor, dude. I just love him.
And I saw Poppins Returns. That review should be coming up in the next couple days, so I'll leave some of it there. But he did not see it, as far as I know.
I've heard some of the music, and I like how it evokes the classic Disney feel. That's cool.
It does that, but the way I will save it for the review. But the way I describe that movie is as its own kids movie, it's fine. I'd argue it's pretty damn good. As a sequel to Mary Poppins, I can't fucking stand it. It's an awful sequel to what I think is one of Disney's absolute best films ever made. I will not go into... I'll probably tell him what I thought, or he'll probably watch the review too. But it didn't really work in that respect as a sequel to Mary Poppins. I'm trying to think what else there. Well, so
Ant-Man and the Wasp was a Marvel movie.
Yeah, I didn't end up seeing it because I didn't see the first Ant-Man.
Yeah,
so.
I forget the actress's name, so forgive me. The woman who played the Wasp. I really liked. She was really good in the movie. I liked her a lot. Paul Rudd was a great actor. I love him. They have fun with it, and that's what it is. It's just a fun Marvel movie. The shrink mechanics are really cool to see. It's just really fun to play around with all the CG.
I did not see Ant-Man and the Wasp at all. Oh, I saw that awful Dwayne Johnson skyscraper film.
Dwayne Johnson, bro.
He's fun. He's fun. He's enjoyable.
It's a Dwayne Johnson movie. Those are the movies you watch, you forget about, but they weren't terrible.
Yeah, it wasn't terrible.
You watched them.
So my 2 for best film of the year is, first off, Bad Times at the El Royale. That was the John Hamm, Jeff Bridges, the girl from 50 Shades of Grey, and 2 other people I think are in it that are big names. That was the big budget film I loved the most out of anything. I didn't review it. We didn't have time because Amanda was having a stressful semester. I was having a stressful semester. We didn't have time to film. So I will kind of talk about it a little bit here. What makes Bad Times such an incredible movie in my mind is the fact that it knew how to tell a slow-paced mystery where if you see the trailers, and I had him watch a trailer and just literally I without his consent ran an experiment almost I said, watch this trailer, and because he's good at catching cliches before they happen. I said, watch this trailer, tell me what this movie's about. And he couldn't. The best he gave me was, it's 7 strangers and something sketchy's going on at the hotel. And the thing about it is, that's all that they did to market it. So walking in, unless you know somebody who sees it and they tell you where the plot goes, you have no idea where that movie will go. And that's the best way to experience it, because where it starts and where it ends, you don't expect. You don't expect where it ends up, but my God, are you along for one hell of a ride. Yeah. It's like a 2.5 hour movie, I think, from what I remember. But for that 2 hours, I didn't want to get out of my seat. I just wanted to take in everything about that environment. And my other big one is indie film that... Now, we at Ed Reviews are going to count this as a 2018 film, even though technically it started its life as a festival film in 2017. Its U.S. and United Kingdom wide releases were 2018, so at least for my own purposes, I'm counting it as a 2018 movie, which I think you would agree.
That's fair, yeah.
And in the Apocalypse. It's a
You were excited for this movie.
It's a zombie Christmas musical.
Which sounds fantastic, by the way.
So, right off the gate, I have to say, Anna and the Apocalypse, all you need to hear is Zombie Christmas Musical and know what your reaction is to know whether or not you'll like this movie. Like, I can't, if the word zombie Christmas Musical doesn't sell you, you won't like it. Like, there's nothing I can do to sell to you. But if you do like anything in that, it really has, it is the most passionate film I have ever came in and watched. It's an indie film, so what I said to him is it suffers from things that an indie film I think would suffer for. There's some clunky exposition, and it definitely, like, some shots, like, you can definitely notice the more amateur aspects to the film. But so just a little bit on the background. A gentleman in 2010 made a short film called Zombie Musical. His name was Ryan McHenry, and then he adapted it into Anna and the Apocalypse. And he tragically passed, I think, before production even began. But I think he had a hand in production. Everybody who took on that movie took on making sure this vision came to the big screen. Loved this insane idea. And there is not, of everything we listed in the movie category, I can't think of a single movie where it is so clear that everybody involved loved the idea that they came up with and wanted to make sure that it came to the big screen in the best way possible.
I feel like indie films are either dumb and trashy or they are hidden gems, because to make an indie film, you gotta either love it or you're just throwing something out there.
Yeah.
Like, because you gotta want it to make a movie when you're an amateur. You gotta want it bad. I don't know. That's my take on it.
Yeah, he didn't see it. I wanted him to come with us. He just had to work that night.
I'm a working boy. I work a lot.
But it is Ella Hunt, who is the lead actress, who I think, like, she's been getting a couple good, like, magazine covers and some decent exposure from this movie. Ella Hunt is astounding in that role as the lead, and Malcolm Cummings' character John. I said this in the review, but I just want to say they managed to write me in that movie. I swear to God, I don't know how it's possible, but they wrote me as a Scottish person in that movie. It's uncanny, and I love that movie. It is so passionate. The review is up, so go watch that to hear me talk about it in more detail. But I argue that you will not find something as passionate as Anna and the Apocalypse from the films that came out in 2018. So just to conclude with what we kind of subtitled this on, or at least this is my message. Passion. To anybody who managed to listen to this almost 2 hour pod.
We're not going to make it 2 hours, and then we talk.
Yeah. By the way, it's 11:43 at night, and I have to drive him home. I did not intend for this, but you work at night tomorrow,
yeah,
and I'm off, so we can sleep. My, I guess, message to creators, if anybody would ever want to listen to a 20-year-old who just started a YouTube channel for the sake of starting a YouTube channel, my message to anybody in any industry is exactly what we're titling this podcast. Care about what you're making. Give a damn.
And if you're returning, say you take over something, an IP that people love, know that audience. Yeah. Connect with them. Know why those people love those games, movies, TV, books, whatever it is. Know your audience and love what you do.
Yeah.
If you don't do either of those things, be it one, the other, or neither, it's not...
Especially...
It shows. You get these glaring issues that just happen because you don't know.
Especially in the age of the internet, people can smell a fraud a mile away.
And that's good.
And it's good, but hopefully it will weed out the Sony Animation Presents the Emoji Movie or the shitty decisions in Wreck-It Ralph. In 2019, I hope to see more incredible stuff like Bad Times and In the Apocalypse.
I don't care if we get less of it, too. It doesn't have to be a big hit after hit after hit. I don't care
it doesn't
if we
have
get
to be
3 amazing games one year.
Yeah.
As long as they're amazing, cool.
Yeah.
I'm fine with that. I'd rather have 3 great experiences than 50 bad ones.
Yeah.
Or subpar ones. I want to see more Sakurai's. I want to see more Hideo Kojima's. I want to see more people just loving what they do. I want to see that passion shine through. I want to see less publishers shitting on that passion.
Yep.
Which I think was a huge problem for a lot of games nowadays. I think graphic designers need a lot more credit because games look fucking beautiful nowadays.
Yep.
So big shout out to anyone who works in animation. Y'all are appreciated, trust me.
All right, guys. So I think that's going to about wrap it up on our end of the year discussion. And so like I said, the end of the year awards video will be coming out on New Year's Eve.